math science teacher.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it's being recorded. And so I was in the classroom for 10 years. I taught internationally in Costa Rica, where I met my wife and had my first child, in California and Boston and Trinidad and Tobago. And I actually had the chance to be what's called an Albert Einstein Distinguished Education Fellow, which is a pretty cool program run out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, to send teachers to Washington, D.C. And so I got to go to DC for 2 years on a fellowship, teaching fellowship. And a lot of my thinking on why what you're about to learn is so important came out of my time working at the Department of Energy. And so I'll tell some stories, a little connecting stories about that. What about you? Who are you? I see in the chat box we have Eric, 6th, 7th grade math. Hello, Eric. And Angela, 6th grade social studies. Hello, Angela. And Lori, 5-6 math science. Hello, Lori. And Diana, Sulphur Springs, 6-7-8 science. Awesome. My people, I teach 8th grade math, Happy Valley. That's a fun place, Happy Valley. Nathaniel. So thanks for sharing that with me. What we're going to do with our hour, I'd love to answer questions as we go. So feel free, please, to just, ask questions as we're going. All right. Yeah, thank you, Nathaniel. And so I'm going to show you 2 programs that are free, fully funded by the state to expose middle school students to STEM and to careers that are highly impactful, research-based. It works. And honestly, that's something that a lot of teachers have called for, as much as from duct tape to a lifesaver. Really what it is a nice resource to have in your back pocket. We are supported by the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce. Hello, April, and hello, Stacy. Oh yeah, this is awesome. Has anyone heard of Learning Blade? Let's start there. Has anyone used it? Holly, have you used it? Unmute, talk to us.
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I came to a seminar and met you at in Oak Ridge at ORNL. It's been a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And we really enjoy using it. This has been 1 year where we haven't really, but coming out of COVID, I feel like we're still disorganized, and we had several other things that we were using, but I have plans to incorporate it and really push that next year.
Awesome. Thank you, Holly. So teachers in Tennessee have been using Learning Blade for 6-7 years. Over 1 million lessons have been completed. So a lot of students have logged in and done it. And I hope to share it with you. Has anyone else heard of it, been to a training, or used it, just out of curiosity? Nobody? Oh, iPhone 4. Did you raise your hand? Have you used it? Yes, no? Okay. So, yeah. So the Tennessee Chamber, right, the incubator for commerce and industry in the state, believes that kids need to seek careers earlier. And in fact, research says the same thing. Raise your hand, and I'm guessing I'll see a lot of hands raised. Have your students ever said, teacher, when will I ever really use this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, everybody. Well, it just so happens this is a cool thing. As kids go from elementary school to middle school, they become abstract thinkers. And a sign that you're an abstract thinker is you can project forward to your future. You can say, this thing you're teaching me now, when will I ever use that in my life? And that's abstract thinking. And the fact that every single one of you raised your hand, and in fact, every middle school teacher I've met in 7 years, which is thousands, have raised their hand, has led me to believe this is one of the most important and fundamental questions, answering it for students. And so what Learning Blade and TNCAPS are supplemental resources. They're meant to enrich. They're not your core curriculum. They're meant to be something you can do with early finishers as project ideas on Learning Blade Fridays to add a layer of career relevance. But that layer of career relevance turns out to be highly significant for keeping kids interested in math and science. And so here we are today, excited to be with you. I'm really looking forward to this. Okay, so Learning Blade is 5'9", perfect sweet spot middle school. So you guys are in the right place. TN Caps is K-12 with a 6-8 grade band series of lessons. So both resources focused on middle school, and we're going to dig into them. So the way this is going to work today, as I'd like it to work, is I'm going to show you both programs. I'm going to log into both programs. And then in the end, I'm going to hope there's time for you to try and figure out if you have access to Learning Blade or not and figure out how to help you get it. Okay. TN Caps, real quick, baseline information. Everyone knows about TN Promise, right? The kids can go to community college in Tennessee for free. That's a big deal. It's a significant deal. 65% of STEM jobs do not require a 4-year degree. This was my epiphany in my fellowship at the Department of Energy. They're spending billions of dollars to get kids into the job, into the workforce through community college. Community college is the pipeline to STEM careers. You can get a job in computer science through community college. You can get a job in the energy field as an installer using your construction trade skills through community college. An automotive degree through community college. You can get a mechatronics, manufacturing degree, healthcare degree. So STEM, I want you all to think, if you don't mind me putting it on you, that's my personal life story was I thought STEM meant PhD scientist. I now realize that an associate's degree, a certificate, and on is a STEM degree. And if we get kids to recognize STEM's bigger, broader, and badder, so many cooler opportunities, they become more excited. Because not every kid wants to be a PhD, but every kid, like a lot of kids, like STEM. And so if we can make that connection that there's STEM at your local TCAT. Man, have you been to a TCAT? Like, has anyone ever been to Tennessee College of Applied Technology? Whoa, like they got high-tech stuff going on in every room. And so like, that's cool. We want kids to see that. So I don't mean to oversell community college. Learning Blade's not just for that. It's to show students STEM as a broader field of opportunity. So TN Caps is actually an effort with the chamber where we connect schools and businesses. So I showed this to the high school teachers and a few of their jaws dropped. Because if you're trying to look for a business and industry in a high demand field to come and speak to your students, who are you going to call? Who are you going to call, Miss Treadway? Like you're sort of thinking, okay, I don't know who to call in the healthcare industry. Now you do. TN Caps is going to give you a phone number at a business, and they've actually registered because they want you to call them because they want to come and visit your students. So it is a database of businesses and industries, and it's a growing database that want to come and talk to your students and tell them about the real workforce in Tennessee. That's what it is. And then with those connections come lesson plans about that career. So, hey, we're having someone from Blue Cross Blue Shield come and talk to our class about how they use computers. A lot of computer scientists at Blue Cross Blue Shield. And we're going to have them talk about how they do computer science in the healthcare industry. Oh, and by the way, here's a computer programmer lesson. So that's what it is. Each lesson plan is a career description, a career name, a self-paced student activity, a hands-on student activity, career connections, and then that local connection. So that's what you're going to get. I'll show you live. It is actually for kindergarten through 12th grade. So if you want to let your elementary friend who's a teacher know, or your whole team meeting, if you do a K-12 science team or whatever, TN Caps is for every grade. Okay.
Would it come up?
So TN Caps is for every grade, and you can share this resource. It's free. It's just an online website. Here's some of the careers: CNC operator, data scientist, information security analyst, marketing manager, nursing, supply chain analyst. Y'all, in my years of education, I never once did a lesson on supply chain analyst, but yet during COVID, did we not find out that supply chain is this critically important career in the world? And like, those people make bank, and they're important, and it's interesting. Let's show kids what supply chain is, right? And have them think about it. So that's what these lessons do for you. They're high demand, high wage. we like to call them living wage, right? So like careers where students, when they leave high school, college, community college, whatever, these are careers where you make a living wage. So it's a website. Go ahead and write it down, tn-caps.com. That's it. It's a teacher resource. TN Caps teacher resource. I'm gonna log in live and show you in a second. Learning Blade is a student resource and a teacher resource. So we'll get there in a second. So TN Caps, you say, hey, I'm with this school in this district at this grade level. Show me the lessons, and you're gonna see the lessons. The lessons have student worksheets already embedded in them, so you can print those out and make copies. And then it shows you the careers and connections to industry and what they're willing to do. Some of them even have product donations. Like my first year teaching, I shouldn't even tell this story, but my first year teaching, I didn't know what I was doing. I was a career switcher. And so my whole summer planning, instead of writing lesson plans and doing stuff, I called people and asked for free stuff. I kept calling, do you have free stuff? I'm a new teacher, I need stuff. I need to connects, the people that make these little build like Legos, they gave me like $10,000 worth of connects. Well, guess what? I was an awesome first year teacher because my kids built these monster connect structures and they did stuff. Anyway, it's free swag. This is telling you who's giving out free stuff in the state. So that's TN Caps. I'm going to go there and show it to you live. Oh yeah, I was on Facebook earlier today. Oops, TN Caps. Here we go. So you say you're with a school. You click here, you can access lesson plans by clicking here. I'm already logged into your district, I'm in Greenville, Greene County. And you can see I can click on a career, computer programmer, and it's gonna show me the local industries, the Brock and Tech Industrial. Does anyone know Brock? Is that familiar to anybody? I don't know if that, it's Stacy saying yes. Well, you can click on it, and this is telling you, call Karen Sheets if you want her to be a guest speaker or in person or come to talk to your students. Boom, right? So that's the information there. Then you can click on other careers, related industries, CNC operator, right? So here's other industries, Northeast State, Domtar. Does anyone ever heard of Domtar? You have, Holly? Oh, cool. So click on it. Domtar wants to come to talk to you guys. There's Kathy Woolley. Give her a call. Now you got the contact information. That's amazing. And look, they've got middle school stuff, high school stuff, field trips. Did you know you could do field trips there? They will mentor your students. They're looking like they really want to show students what they're doing. And now you know how to reach out to them. So, okay, so let's go do a supply chain analyst lesson. I'm going to click on it, say how many students I have, and then it's going to download the lesson plan with the teacher handout and the student handouts, right? Teacher resources and lesson plan. And that's what TN Caps is, okay? It's showing me the careers, the industries, the local connections, their contact information. And then as I get down, here's the lesson plan with 2 activities: analyzing suppliers and what is lean manufacturing. So students, this is a 9th grade lesson. I didn't choose middle school, so it gets a little bit more complex, but it's got a career video, it's got classroom discussion questions, and then it's got this metric tons conversions to aluminum price per ton. Figure out which one are you going to buy if you're the shipping manager or the supply manager, right? The red is the answer key because the students' handouts down below where they get the blank one. So it's already prepared for you. It's showing you all the answers. It's helping you be ready. Questions about TN Caps? That's really what it is. Career connections to local industries, then the lesson plans to tap into it. Question? Nope. Awesome. Good stuff. Thumbs up if you think that's something you might be able to use. Awesome. I see some thumbs. Good stuff. Thanks, y'all. Thumbs ups. I like thumbs ups. Okay. Next, I'm going to go back to my slide deck and talk about Learning Blade. Now, after you see this, if you want an account to Learning Blade, you should probably write this down right now. learningblade.com/TN. You fill out that, it's a 60-second form, your name, your school name, and then if you use Clever or not, and that's about it. Bing, bang, boom, fill it out. Our team gets it. And tomorrow, Friday or Monday, we send you your login and your license, and you can go ahead and start using it. It's that simple, okay? So if you don't know if you have a Learning Blade account, if you're from multiple schools, it doesn't matter. Same school, you fill that out. We'll send you your account. In all likelihood, your school's already been created, your account's already live and active. It's just you don't know how to access your personal teacher account. We're going to make a new one for you. Okay? All righty. So here's the deal. I'm going to tell you a short story. Perkins 5. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Perkins 5. Raise your hand if you've never heard of Perkins 5. Cool. That's awesome. Learn something new every day. So Perkins 5, and in middle school, you probably normally shouldn't have ever heard of Perkins 5. Federal government spends billions of dollars every year on something called CTE, Career Technical Education. The money from the federal government that goes to districts comes out of a law in Congress called the Carl Perkins Act. Well, Carl Perkins just added $75 million for middle schools with a focus on exploring careers in middle schools. You guys can tell your district person and they can go find that money. Learning Blade's free, so it's not about that. The point I'm trying to make is it is now recognized that waiting till high school to expose students to careers is way too late. And that's why we're showing you Learning Blade today. There's science content in here, there's math content, there's English standards and social studies standards, but it's all in the goal of building a mindset in the student of, oh, I know what STEM really is, right? So that's the goal, career exploration. And I could spend actually I've done whole presentations for an hour on this one topic, STEMinism. I'm a STEMinist. I have 3 daughters. I wrote a book about girls in STEM. Like, I just think this is an easy win. We need girls to feel like they can be in the STEM workforce. I don't know if you guys have ever, raise your hand. Have you ever heard of Draw a Scientist? Raise your hand, one person. So I'd like to tell you this quick, interesting data point. 1974, 5,000 students, given the prompt, simply this, draw a scientist. They studied the pictures. 99% drew men. That means 99% of girls were drawing boys when asked to draw a scientist. That's alarming and not okay. They redid that in 2005, 10, something like that. And about 45% of girls drew men. 99% of boys drew men. The point is, girls are still not seeing themselves in the STEM workforce at the right percentage. It should be 100%. You want to draw yourself into STEM. And the question then is, well, how do you fix it? How have we improved it? It's through providing them role models, exposing them. Google wrote a report in 2014. Does anyone teach computer science? So Google wrote a report, how to get more girls into computer science. Wild recommendation, expose them to computer science. That's how you get them into it. So how to get more girls into STEM, expose them to STEM, right? That's the simple thing, expose them to the careers. That also works. It's also true if we broke down the dynamics of low income students, of minority students. They participate in the STEM workforce at much lower rates. And so we should change that. Tennessee Promise is such a huge opportunity, y'all, to do that. So that's our goal. Supplement, enrich, and provide standards alignment to your core 4, but while exposing students to careers. Answering the question, when will I ever use this, teacher? Oh, well, if I was a UI UX designer, if I was an environmental engineer, if I was a welder, I'm going to use math and welding. Yes, you're going to use math and welding. So exposing students to a wide variety of careers, that's our goal. Okay, so Learning Blade, how do we do that? There are 12 missions, and I actually want to give everyone the mission right now. Oops, oopsie daisy, let me see, brochure. Huh. learningblade.com/brochure. Oops. I wanted to give it to you. Oh, there it is, mission outlines. Okay. So I'm putting this in the chat box, everything I'm about to show you. And this can be shared with other teachers in our school district. Oh, yes, Ms. Treadway. It can be shared. We would love you to share it. It is free. Training is free. If any of you are like, oh, this is great, I want to bring it back to my team, then you email me, Joshua@Learning.Blade, and say, can you come to our July training? Can you do a 30-minute Zoom or a 10-minute Zoom or a 50-minute Zoom? Yep, Yup, and yup. We have a team of trainers. So it's not just me, but anyone. You tell me the date and time, and someone will be there, guaranteed virtually, but also possibly in person. Okay. So in Learning Blade, I'm gonna show you the diagrams, but that's the link I just put in the chat box. We have 12 missions. Each mission, each mission is 8 hours of interdisciplinary curriculum. If you're a math teacher, you can think about it this way. Each mission is 2 hours of math lessons. Each mission is 2 hours of science lessons. Each mission is 2 hours of English lessons and 2 hours of social studies lessons. It's about 8 hours of curriculum. So as a math teacher, I'm thinking, wait, you got 2 hours of lessons related to dolphins? Well, sort of. Let me show you. I'll come back to that. So I'll show you our flu outbreak, right? Pandemic lesson, talking about the spread of pandemics. Gosh, my mouse is touchy. I'm so sorry for all the screen switching. Learning about what is an epidemiologist. Gosh, didn't we all just figure out what that is, right? Here's a math lesson. How does the flu spread? A social studies lesson, history of health records. A science lesson, preventative methods and treatments of the flu. So each of these things I'm calling a lesson, how does the flu spread, is a 10 to 15 minute activity. I really want to focus in on this for you guys because implementation is the struggle. Like, where does it fit? I have my core curriculum. I don't have space. You have 45 10-minute lessons on the screen. Every mission is filled with 45 10-minute math lessons. Math teachers, I love this one. How big is big? What's an exabyte? What's the exponential notation of an exabyte? What's a gigabyte? What's a terabyte? What are the exponential notations? Showing students exponents in terms of computer science is showing them how to learn exponents, but in a real world context. So we have lessons like that. You know, if you asked about the Pythagorean theorem, we have a lesson on GPS satellites. We have a lesson on surveying the ground, right? So we have ways of showing the real world careers that are using Pythagorean theorem, so on and so forth. I didn't see any English teachers on the call, but every lesson's an English lesson. But social studies teachers, I saw some of you were social studies. You know, we do have lessons, the female first in computing. That's about Ada Lovelace and Charles Babbage from 150 years ago. They built the machine that programming language before there were computers. They were like, it's crazy what Ada Lovelace did, right? So we have historical lessons in here. We have lessons on the Iron Age. We have lessons on assembly lines and Ford and whatever. So that's what you have. So look, sorry, going back, 10-minute lesson. Where does 10 minutes fit in your day, right? Where you can add relevance, add career connections in a 10-minute chunk. Bell ringer, maybe. Those assembly periods that are goofy and you never have enough time to even get started. And early finisher activities is a huge integration strategy that is successful in schools around the country. Kids are finishing early all the time. Let's extend the learning. Let's give them a project that they're excited to go do when they finish early. And I call that an anchor unit. You can Google anchor units. That's an actual educational term. When you drop something in front of a kid that they don't need teacher supervision to keep working on it. So you teach them how to log into Learning Blade, and then you say, when you finish early in math class this semester, work on the Fresh Food Express mission, whatever. It gives them math lessons to keep working on in a different context. And then the third and fourth way would be in electives, in RTI Tier 1, if you have like guidance hour blocks and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of ways of using it. And then the last one is my favorite, but it's not the most used, is a team PLC. All right, as a team, the English, social studies, math, and science teacher at grade 7 in this school have decided in this quarter, we're gonna do a Learning Blade project together. Because what is it? They're seeing the integration of math and English and science around a single topic, rescuing a dolphin, finding fresh food. It's connecting the synapses. English is not a silo and math is not a silo. In Learning Blade, they're seeing that, oh, all those skills relate to my future. So that's Learning Blade in a nutshell. I'm gonna log in and show it to you. I want to point out one thing though. I've been talking about the online lessons, these 10-minute student logs in, learns online. I'm about to show
Hi, is
you.
this Jessica?
No, this, yeah,
Jessica,
Maureen.
this is
So, in addition to the 400 online lessons, those little mini 10-minute activities, in the teacher resources page, we have hands-on challenge projects. We have 3D printing projects, print an airplane. Who's got a 3D printer? I see a couple hands. You would, Holly, April, you need to check out our 3D printing activities. They're spectacular. They're meant to be experiments. Like a lot of kids, Tinkercad teaches you to print a bookmark, right? But we want kids to take it to the next level. I give you a base design of an airplane, by the way, super thin, so it prints really quickly. Now I want you, April, and class to tinker the design and see who can build the airplane that'll fly the farthest. Engineering design challenge, real world scenario, data collection, data gathering, and also fun, right? So that we have those sorts of things. We have engineering design challenges. Everyone's heard of the egg drop? Yes, of course. That's an engineering design challenge. Well, we've designed our own. We've many of them. I'll give you one example. Has anyone ever heard of the potato chip challenge? I'm going to give you guys a potato chip as a group, a team, a single parabolic Pringle. Build a container to ship it in the mail back to school and see if it survives. That's a challenging engineering project. The team that wins will be the potato chip that survives and has the lowest postage, right? And so now you could do a grade competition, 7th grade versus 8th grade. Who's going to win the ice cream party? But we've got these sort of design thinking challenges there. Career videos is a new resource that we've added to Learning Blade. So there are career videos, parent discussions, and then coding. I didn't see anyone say they're teaching coding. Can I just ask you to remember what I'm about to say for this coming school year? The Tennessee Department of Education is now requiring computer science in middle school. There's new standards for it. And most schools still don't have a coding teacher. We built on purpose, intentionally, a coding course in Learning Blade for teachers that don't know how to teach coding. Because what it is a step-by-step, follow the recipe. Here's the teacher lesson plan to teach this individual little lesson and go back and learn and do and learn and do and learn and do. I'll show you that briefly, but someone at your school probably is going to integrate coding this year or should be, or, kids need these skills, y'all. And we've got a course that's 20 hours long to do that. All right. And I'll show you that. There it is. Going to teach kids how to write code, going to teach kids how to write it, build an app, going to teach kids how to write algorithmic statements, and then explore cybersecurity. All of that's going to happen in our coding block. Last two things, and then I'm going to log in live and show you, and then you all will log in. But Learning Blade has over 1 million lessons completed in the state of Tennessee. We have a lot of data points, y'all, and the data is conclusive. It is statistically significant, meaning we had a third party evaluate the data and said, this is effectively the results. After using Learning Blade, students are 59% more interested in STEM careers. They're seeing the trees in the forest. You give them, Google said this too, exposure is the secret to expanding interest in STEM. 140% increase in the students that use Learning Blade saying, I know what STEM really looks like in the real world. High demand jobs with high wages, if your students know what STEM really looks like, and they're more likely to pursue it. And then, one more data point I want to show you. Increasing students in math class saying by 79%, math is helpful when solving real world problems. So there you have it, math teachers. When will I ever use this? Using Learning Blade as a supplemental resource will increase the relevance of why am I in math class? Because every single career in Learning Blade has a math lesson. So they're saying, okay, math and careers are intricately interconnected. That's the data. I'm sticking to it. And now what I'd like to do is log in and show you Learning Blade Live. And I'm going to give you a couple notes. I don't know if you're taking notes, but I'm going to give you like 4 bulleted notes, like literally 4 tiny bullets. And with those, that's the training to use this in your school. But first, I want to remind you, learningblade.com/TN. That's how you say, I want an account for my school or a new account, whatever, and fill it out. Doesn't really matter what you put at the top here. It's this form that you fill in and then submit it. Okay. That's what you're going to get your account. I probably have time to tell you, does anyone use Clever? All right, let's just take a minute. Let's just take a minute. I'm going to tell you if your district already turned it on, April. That can be helpful, right? I imagine. So you could also check your Clever account, but I can check here. So April, what district are you?
Anderson County.
Okay. Anderson County. So it's not in your Clever account, but you could just tell your Clever coordinator to turn it on. He's been invited. Anyone else want me to check? Lori?
Cock County.
Cobb?
Cock, C-O-C-K-E.
C-O, yeah. Yeah, you guys have it. So it should be in your Clever account. Anybody else?
Claiborne,
How do you spell that?
C-L-A-I-B-O-R-N-E.
Yep, it's in your Clever accounts. It's shared with everybody, so you should have it. Anyone else?
Hawkins County.
Hawkins. Yep, it looks like it's in your Clever account and shared with everyone. You should have it in your Clever, which means your students should too. Anyone else?
Joshua, can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
So I have a login that I've always used and I assign student usernames. We have a small group of people at our school who are using Clever. Do you think that would be an easier way for kids to log in? So I wouldn't have to assign usernames?
Absolutely, that is the purpose of Clever. So yeah, I would just tell your students, go clever.com, click on Learning Blade and get started. Just for you to know, Holly, your old account is probably at an old school. It's the same school name, but it was the non-Clever version of it. So you probably want to log in through Clever too.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Because if you're not logging in through Clever, then you're not going to see your students' performance because you're logging into the non-Clever version of your school, which is literally an apple and an orange. Okay. Anyone else?
Sullivan County.
Sullivan. Yep. Yep. You got it in yours as well. Yep. So, and that's something to just point out. I mean, you guys are here. You're part of this cohort. And Ms. Treadway asked, but please let your colleagues know that they have access to this as well. I would love to have a domino effect be part of what happened today. Okay. Anyone else? So there was one that wasn't invited yet or wasn't accepted. Feel free to email me or email your Clever coordinator. Go ahead, Holly.
I was just going to say, can you just check Washington County to make sure?
Yeah. Washington County, Tennessee. Nope. I'm going to invite you right now, though. What's your email, Holly?
Jamerson, Jamersonh @wcde.org.
Okay, so you're going to get this email. But please, feel free to reach out to your tech coordinator to let them know you want them to turn it on. All right. Commerce, spelled that right. And last thing I got to do is just change that to TN. And now you got your account, or the whole district has been asked to have been invited. Someone's got to flip a switch, Holly. All right, so we got that covered. That's all good. Let me log in and do that quick, what I called the training part for you. Okay, I don't have Clever, so I'm going to log in with my teacher account. So here's bullet number 1. We do not auto roster in Clever, meaning your classes won't be there and your students won't be there, but it doesn't mean it's broken. What do? Bullet number 1, you click classes the first time you ever log in, and then you click the green create a class. Classes, create a class. And if you make a class, I'm gonna make one called Treadway. Thank you, Miss Treadway. I just made a class. Look, there's my class called Treadway, and there's a class code. You guys see that? Don't write down my class code because I'm going to delete it in a second. But as soon as you have your class code, you say, hey, students, go to clever.com or whatever, log in. Bullet number 2, students log in and click resources and click enter class code. So you share the class code with students. So bullet number 1, teacher logs in, creates class, gets class code. Bullet number 2, student logs in, clicks resources, enters class code. Good. That's how you roster your classes. That's the bare minimum. Now you're ready to rock and roll. Tell kids to get going. Let me show you what kids see and what they do. I'm logged in. I see all these colorful tiles. My teacher says, let's go do the, does anyone want me to click a mission? First person to shout out.
Energy sources.
Love it, Angela. Let's go do the energy sources mission. Now, I just want to explain teacher pedagogy. I describe it as teacher-centered versus student-centered. Teacher-centered, I want you, students, to do this lesson right now. Students, we're going to do environmental engineers, and we're going to all do a day in the life of environmental engineer. That way we can all talk about it, we can all do it. Student-centered might be something like, as your supplemental enrichment early finisher, y'all, I just need you to finish energy sources express or energy sources by the end of the quarter. You do it when you finish early at the start of class and when you finish early until I get you going. Go in any order you want, right? So and anything in between, right? So, okay, we're going to go look at environmental engineers. There's a video lesson. Learn about what that career is. There's a math lesson, a science lesson on the scientific method, English and social studies. I saw a social studies teacher, so I'm clicking history of coal-fired power plants. Angela, are you social studies?
I do both science and social studies.
Okay, cool. So here you go. Coal, right? History of coal-fired power plants. It's a reading lesson. All of Learning Blade's online activities have a focus on reading informational text. So they're reading, they're learning about coal-fired power plants, they're learning about where the electricity is generated and how it's generated, where it's generated. And then as they go through it, learning some technology. 1940s brought the cyclone furnace. With this approach, the power plants could use lower grade coal, yet yield more power. Which sentence is an appropriate conclusion for this passage? See, we're looking at, looking at conclusion. So if they get it right, they get a gold star. Notice every question is followed by the correct answer. This is critical, everybody, for early finisher work, because you, as a teacher, you want to focus on your core class, finishing the core assignment, not your early finishers who are doing something else. They're in a self-directed learning because it's giving them corrected feedback. So that's where that works really well that way. All right. So anyways, you're looking at that lesson, plenty of text, a lot of reading. Math teacher, here's an energy calculator lesson. This is probably this is a little more advanced than most of the math lessons in Learning Blade, but we're looking at CO2 emissions. Remember, coal-fired power plants are actually getting turned off around the world because they emit a lot of CO2. So let's actually think about that. Coal produces 2.3 pounds of CO2 per kilowatt. Petroleum produces 1.9 pounds. If you produced 42% coal, 58% petroleum, what would the equation look like? Ooh, setting up an algebraic expression. Okay, like that, pre-algebra. So here we're going to ask this one now. Here's a little test taking skill. It says right here, simplest form. That's giving me a clue. It might most likely be that one. Okay, using my test taking strategies, followed by the correct answer. So anyways, you got math connected to a career. Here's the point. They're learning about environmental engineers. They're seeing math being used in a real world context. I taught math for 7 years. I want to tell you guys something. Never in my math textbook did it ever have 8 problems in a row in the context of a coal-fired power plant, right? It's one question about a bake sale and the next question about going to the moon, and then the third question, no relation between questions, no context building. Now, this isn't studying the same standards like your math textbook would, but if it's enrichment, it's providing a math storyline in the student's brain. That is why we have stunning math results. We're building context. I hope you guys are seeing that, because this is, again, another question when you get it wrong, you got to try twice. If you get it wrong twice, you're not going to get scored. You're going to lose points. Your grade goes down, but you're going to see the correct answer. So that's what students do. Online lessons. Teachers can see their scores. Let me show you. I have my class of students. I only have 2 students to demonstrate in my class, but I can click on my class name. I can say I want to see a report. I can look at a date range this week, this month, this year, and I can see all the activities they've done. I can click on their activity list and I can see all their scores. So this is adding to my grade book in a way that costs me very little time as a teacher. And you all know grading is a beast. It's a bear. I wouldn't want this to be the only grade I'm using, but it sure does help to have like a standard grade every week being generated, right? If you use it once a week. Some teachers do Learning Blade Fridays or Learning Blade Mondays. At the start of class on Friday, our bell ringer will be a 10-minute Learning Blade lesson. Gives it just a change of pace, right? A new program, a new focus. All right. So I told you I was giving you bullets. Here's bullet number 3. Teacher resources section. This is where the lesson plans are for offline or other types of engagements. So I think it was Holly said she had a 3D printer, or April. They're under 3D Maker Quests. I'll show you another one that I love. I love, 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 love this one. Our wind turbine. So wind turbines are expensive to do experiments with in class to build the materials for wind turbines. I don't know if you have a wind, it's called Kid Wind. They're the national seller. The owner's my good friend, Michael Arquin. In this one, you're gonna have kids print these pieces. And the awesome part is it threads on to a 2-liter water bottle. So you have the base for your wind turbine. Then what you can have students do is maybe the teacher prints the parts, the green parts. Then you get the students to print the blades design. So I'm going to put Holly, April, and Ms. Treadway in a class and say, you guys on Tinkercad design 3 blades, 1 blade, but we're going to print it 3 times. We're going to compare your blade's efficiency to Angela, Diane's, Eric's, and Stacy's blade, right? Because we're going to put it in, we're going to put it the same distance from the fan, and we're going to count rotations and see who spins faster. And it'll be based on the dynamics of the blade you design. So that's like a real world engineering challenge with your 3D printer, right? I like that sort of stuff. April, is that something that sort of looks interesting, engaging? Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's under Maker Quests. I told you guys about the potato chip challenge. That's under design thinking, fresh food, but you'll notice there's other things here too, right? So for our hack attack mission, student safety and security and personal protection of identity is an important thing. So in this one, we're challenging students to design a public service announcement. Where is it? Design or modify a public education material that would educate others. So imagine students doing a poster project on protecting their PII, or maybe on not bullying online so it doesn't follow you your whole life, or not being a troll, right? Like they could choose a theme, and different groups could choose different themes to present on a design that they've created out of scratch from the resources we provided and from the prompts and questions we're giving them. Nice project, stuff like that. So that's what you guys have here. Mission challenges are hands-on projects. Has anyone ever done a rubber band car? That is, I think it's one of the like most fun, but also most challenging engineering things because rubber bands like to give out their energy rapidly. So we have a lesson plan on building a rubber band car, right? There it is. Simple materials, household supplies. Literally, it's a paper towel roll with 2 pencils stuck through it, and then get the kids to figure out what the wheels are going to be. But then they can, test it, gather data, collect data, graph data, analyze data, interpret data, all because you used a paper towel roll, right? So we're giving you simple, basic lesson plans for STEM engagement, data collection, authentic real world stuff. That's what you got. The last thing I do want to show you is anybody doing STEM camps this summer? We have a resource called STEMmer Camp. What that is it's Learning Blade, but we sort of broke the pieces apart to give you a full day lesson plan of using Learning Blade. So that includes reading online, answering some math online, doing 2 hands-on projects, doing a research project, doing some paper folding projects. We built a camp around the content. So you have that access too. Let me stop there for a second because I know it's a fire hose and I'm giving lots of information. And as I'm stopping, just say, I think I gave you guys my email. So this was a fire hose. There is training videos right here to come back and review it. I'm in the teacher resources section, training videos. And also you can email us anytime and request another training or a refresher or just, hey, I got 3 questions. Can we jump on Zoom? No problem. What questions do you have now? What comments, what thoughts? I would love comments and thoughts because it's a recording and other people will see it, hear what your thoughts are. And also you guys can cross-pollinate. What are you thinking about? Feel free to unmute and chat it up. Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? All right, good stuff. I think you guys, you see what it is. You have your accounts in Clever. So I just want to leave with asking the schools that I said it's in your Clever. Have you checked? Is it in your Clever? And if you want, I would like, it's up to you, but if you guys will put your email, just your email in the chat box, I'll add you to our newsletter where we'll give you a welcome series, which reminds you of every resource. And then it also tells you about our contests and prizes to win things and do all that stuff. And, so if you put your emails there, I'll grab them. I'll add them to our Salesforce and we'll just try and stay in touch with you. April just lost power.
I think I already get email. Well, I know I already get emails from you. You don't
Okay,
need
so we got yours, Holly.
I have a quick question, if that's okay.
It is.
My district is in Clever. I have it on my school computer right now. So once us teachers go in there and register, our kids are ready to go automatically as soon as we create that class and give them the code, correct?
Yes. Yes, but let me explain something. When you log in right now, if you're logged into Learning Blade, Angela, and you click students, you might see 0 students in your school. Doesn't mean it's broken. When the student logs in the first time, when little Josh comes to your class and logs in, boom, now you see Josh in your school. So their accounts are created the instant they log in the first time. All good stuff, good questions. Well, thank you, everyone. Ms. Treadway, thanks for the comment about sharing with others and just saying yes again, reminding people, please feel free to share this with your colleagues. If anyone wants your school to get a training, let us know. Your district to get a training, let us know. I hope you guys have a great summer. You've earned it. And you're close. The finish line is close. Ooh-wee.
Thank you, Joshua.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Before you guys hop off, I have just a few announcements. The PD sessions for cohort 2, the online sessions, is due May 15th. Cohort 1 has they've completed. And if you're confused about which cohort you're in, you can just email me. And then UAH has a cybersecurity workshop this summer near Birmingham, Alabama. It's July 18th through the 22nd for middle school and high school. There's 24 spots available. They are doing a stipend of exactly $669.44, but it does not cover travel. So if you want to do that, I will send you the registration form, and I'll also send you the recording of this video. Does anyone have any questions pertaining to STEM.LD? Okay, well, thank you guys for taking the time to attend this meeting, and we'll see you next time.